Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and welcome to a special edition of Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I'm here today to talk to you about how main characters that are Asian in Disney Channel shows always have one white parent. Now, that's a weird thing to say. It's a weird thing to hear, and I never thought in a million years I would ever say that because I didn't know that was an actual thing until I was on YouTube, and for whatever reason this video was recommended for me. It was talking about why the casting of like London Tipton from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was perfect for her father. I'm all like, oh, okay, I've always wondered what her father looks like. Why? I've never truly watched The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody or The Sweet Life on Deck. I've only watched one episode in both shows. Now, of course, Sweet Life on Deck is a spin-off of the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I only watched one episode of both because actually both are on my DVD. See, I have the Wendy Wu DVD, and it has an episode of Zack and Cody, The Sweet Life, and I have the Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana DVD, and of course, it was a crossover episode, so we got that Sweet Life on Deck, and they was on like, the yacht boat the entire time and stuff like that. So other than those two episodes, I've never ever seen any other episode of Sweet Life or Sweet Life on Deck. So I never knew what London Tipton's parents looked like, but of course I knew who London Tipton was and everything. She's an Asian character who is filthy rich and extremely stupid in the head. So I'm all like, okay, cool. I'm gonna see what like Asian actor they got to play her father. I clicked the video and I was surprised to see the man ain't Asian whatsoever. He's either white or Jewish. I can't remember what the actor is. And I was like, that's weird. He's white. Is she like adopted or something? So after doing some searching on the internet, it turns out that she does not appear to be adopted. It just appears to be her father and everything. I'm all like, I never would have like guessed that she was like biracial and everything because the actress is Hmong, and I don't think she's like mixed with anything. So I was just really shocked and surprised to see that. I'm just kind of like, why on earth would they give her like a white father? Then I started reading the comment sections, and somebody said something interesting that piqued my curiosity. They said that no Asian character on Disney Channel like has an Asian like father and mother, or like something about like one of their parents is always white. I'm like, that's weird because I was thinking about like Tiffany from Bunk'd. And I knew Andy Mack, and I knew she had an Asian family, but she had a white dad and everything. And then I stopped and I rewatched Bunk'd because I love that show. Well, I don't love it. I like it. Like, it's very entertaining and stuff. And sure enough, Tiffany has a white parent. And I'm just like, this is like the oddest, weirdest coincidence I've ever seen. So, I've talked about Asian representation a few years ago when I did my very first video for Asian Month appreciation and stuff. And I talked about how there's barely any representation on Disney Channel. For the most part, there's only been 3 shows to have a prominent Asian character. Now, I haven't watched every Disney Channel show, so maybe one escaped my notice, but I doubt it. And I'm only talking about live action, so there's only been really like 3 prominent Asian people on Disney Channel. London Tipton, Tiffany Chen, and Andy Mack. Now, London Tipton, I can't say her name. London Tipton was everywhere on Disney Channel back in the day, and so was Brenda Song. And so, like, she was in the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, and she was on the Sweet Life on Deck. And both those shows ran for many, many, many seasons. And so, oh, this is main characters, by the way, not recurring characters. I know there was this one Asian girl who was kind of recurring on a couple of shows, but like, that's just that. And she never was a main character, and we never got to see her parents. And so, then the second time we've ever seen an Asian person on Disney Channel was that of Tiffany Chen from Bunk'd. And Bunk'd was a spinoff of Jessie. Jesse was about a bunch of rich kids who were adopted by a white family, except for Emma, who was their biological one, and they had a nanny. And none of those kids were Asian. Well, technically, Ravi was South Asian, but he's Indian. But still, he had white adoptive parents. And then, of course, we had Andy Mack, Disney Channel's first primarily Asian show. And so, but they still gave her a white father. But there's a reason for that. See, Peyton List, no, not Peyton List. I'm thinking of the girl from Bunk'd and Jessie. Peyton Lee, that's it. I give her a pass because of the simple fact she's actually biracial. She's Chinese and white in real life. Therefore, when it comes to casting her in projects, she tends to have a biracial family. So, like when she was on Disney Channel for Andy Mack, she had an Asian mom and a white father. When she was on Disney Plus for that female version of Doogie Howser remake, she had a Chinese father and a white mother. So I can give her a pass because, you know, casting for her actual ethnicity, that's very important and stuff. Unless she wants to pull a Zendaya, which I also appreciate as well, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But what I don't understand is why did they give Tiffany, a white mother in London, like a white father? Now, if you ever saw Brenda Song back in the day when she was really young, she had more Asian features, especially around the eyes. I talked about that in R.L. Stein's The Nightmare Room, where when I looked at her, at first I couldn't quite tell it was her because she had slightly more squinty eyes at one point when she was younger. Then when she started getting a little bit older, her eyes just got like normal looking eyes and stuff, a little bit bigger. Look, I ain't speculating nothing. All right, I'm not saying she had surgery as like a teenager. Maybe her eyes just developed when she got older. Heck if I know. But I ain't speculating nothing. But I'm also not saying that it's not possible. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, but she is very Asian looking, like in terms of skin tone with that golden skin and like, you know, silky black hair. Same thing goes for that of Tiffany from Bunk'd. Tiffany has very Asian features, especially around the eyes. Her eyes are very squinty and everything. And also just like with Brenda Song, she has very golden brownish type skin and long black silky hair. Nothing about these two screams that they're mixed with like white and everything. And I've seen half white, half Asian people, and it can go either way. They can look the way of Peyton Lee, who has that golden brownish skin, but has like, you know, regular sized eyes and everything. Or the way of Katie from So You Think You Can Dance, who has that milky white Asian looking skin and regular looking eyes and stuff. And so, like, I don't know why they chose to give them like Asian parents, I mean, white parents. Now, I'm wondering, Could this be one reason or could this be another? See, Disney Channel is known for having white people or other races, say like Italian, play like Latinos on their shows. Stuck in the middle, you have two Italian actors. One's an actor, one's an actress, and they're playing Latinos on the show. And this is supposed to be a predominantly like Latino show, but then you have two Italians, which are technically white Europeans, playing Latinos. Then the oldest daughter is a white girl playing a Latino like character on the show, the sibling and everything. And they tried to like play this off as the entire family being like, Latino. But you have three white like stars and everything pretending to be Latino. And that's jacked up. Like it's not that hard to find Latino people. It really not. It's not that hard to find Latino people to play Latino people. They're everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So there's no reason to have like a bunch of white people playing Latino people, but that's Hollywood for you. And of course, Disney tricked everybody into making folks assume that they are Latino. So this now does make me wonder in Bunk'd if this white lady with dark black hair, was she playing a white woman or was she playing a Chinese woman? I will never know. And so it's either that or Tiffany is biracial and everything. And it's just odd. Like, there are Asian actresses in this country. Pick one and just have them play her mom. And so, and I also wonder that because the mom's name is Professor Chen. So that tells me she's either a white woman playing an Asian character or her character is white and married to that of an Asian man. And just took on his last name like most traditionally married people do. It's just peculiar because of the simple fact, like when it comes to both London and that of Tiffany, and even for the most part Andy, they are the only Asian representation Disney Channel for a television show has ever really had. So why not like show an actual Asian family, you know what I'm saying? With the exception of Andy Mack, of course. But why not show it with the other two and stuff? Especially with London Tipton, since she was the first. And it took a very long time for Disney Channel to ever bring on an Asian character. Rather, it was recurring, guest starring, or like main cast. So why whitewash that for? Like, I don't get it. And because when you look at Tipton, London Tipton, she is the whitest Asian girl ever. The way she talks is like a Valley girl. The way she dresses is like a white Valley girl. And it's just like when people look at her, yeah, they will see an Asian girl, but when they look at her, all they really see is a white girl and everything. Or an Asian girl pretending to be white. And this has haunted the actress because like she wanted to be in Crazy Rich Asians and she got rejected, and she made that public, and a lot of people online, and I kid you not, they said, well, when you play like, a white Asian girl your entire life and that's all people know you for, why would they cast you in this movie? That's messed up. That is messed up. But anyways, and of course she married a white dude, so that didn't like make her case any better. And of course those people let her know that too, so yeah. But as for Tiffany, Tiffany is a little bit unique and different. See, Tiffany on Bunk'd is okay, here's the thing, right? It is said that her character likes to read Chinese Mandarin and write Mandarin, but we never see her do that. Like, I've never seen her write Mandarin. I've never seen her talk Chinese, speak Chinese, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like, why tell us that if she doesn't actually do it? Like, you know what I'm saying? She knows other languages and she spoke those like Swahili. I can't talk right now. Swahili. Whew, that was difficult to get out. But we've never heard her speak Mandarin and stuff. And so when she just dresses like a normal little kid, you know, like a normal little American like girl, whatever. We've never seen her have any like Asian artifacts in her bunk room. We or cabin like room or whatever. We've never seen her. I don't know. Never really seen her put her hair up like I guess kind of like a lot of Asian pop stars or kind of like dressed like them or anything. It's like there's nothing apparent about that. And what makes it even more interesting is that every time she describes her mom, it's clear she has like a stereotypical Asian tiger mom. A mom who wants her to do nothing but study and be perfect. And even the musical instrument in which she plays happens to be a violin, which is something you always tend to see Asian people play in television shows or movies and stuff. It's like a go-to instrument for like Hollywood for them. And so, when they kept mentioning her mom, because they mention her mom in like every episode Tiffany is in, and Tiffany's in pretty much every episode for 2 seasons before they wrote her out. And so, by the way she kept describing her mom, it really seemed apparent her mom was Asian. Then her mom finally appeared in the second season towards the end, and it's like, hold up, this woman ain't is not Asian and stuff. Like, what the heck is going on? So why make her mom appear to be Asian by description of how her personality is when it comes to that of stereotypes? Why tell us like Tiffany can speak Mandarin and write Mandarin, but we never see or hear this and everything? And it's like they wanted Tiffany to be that Asian representation that London wasn't, but yet they still have Tiffany being portrayed as very much a white Asian girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? And as for Andy Mack, I've never seen this show. I tried to watch it, but pretty much every episode is taken off Disney Plus because of a certain disgusting man who was on that show. And so, like, as I was trying to watch it, I was like, when you watch the first episode of season one, as it's portrayed on Disney Plus, you're halfway into the series, and I don't know what the heck is going on. So I just decided to stop watching it. So I don't know how Asian this family is and stuff like that. But like, so back to my point, either it was white people pretending to be Asian, which London Tempting Dad is clearly not, or it's typical Hollywood being Hollywood to where they feel like, oh no, like if we have this diverse character on the show who clearly is not white, maybe the audience will not accept her or like her or want to watch our show. So to rectify this, they give them like an a white parent and stuff. Be all like, see, look, she's one of y'all and everything. And that also comes with the personality and this and that. And I hate that so much about Hollywood. It's like some people who only wants to see a certain type of person that looks like them, they are willing to accept other people who don't look like them. You know what I'm saying? You have to give them a chance. When you keep feeding this notion into their brain that only white people should exist in television and movies, that's all they're going to think about. And then they start to become bigoted in everything. Because when it comes to Jorge, this character is Mexican. And he's like really the second predominantly Mexican character we've ever had on the show, next to that of Max. Max was pretty much the first and everything because on Wizards of Waverly Place, It was a mixed like Mexican Italian family. And so the dad was Italian, and of course those are just like white Europeans and stuff. So it's like, it was a mixed blended family. And then, that's how a lot of Disney Channel shows are when it comes to like families of a certain race, that they're always mixed, or like they have like a white parent. Anyway, Jorge, he has black curly hair, right? And so when he was homesick, the campers decided to dress up as his parents and make him feel better. He was happy, but he told them he's the only one in his family who has black hair. The rest of his family, his mom, his dad, his brothers, sisters, his grandparents, and his cousins all have blonde hair. And I heard that, and I'm thinking to myself, this ain't the 1960s, 70s, or 80s anymore when they force Mexican, like Americans, especially their kids, to dye their hair blonde. And I only know that because of Eva Longoria, a Mexican woman who, depending on what way she wants to color her hair, sometimes will have black or brown hair. And the dude who played Carlos, her husband on Desperate Housewives, when they was doing an interview about her, he said, and this is how I learned this, back in the day when they was growing up, if you were like a Mexican kid, living in America, whether you was born here or like immigrated here, the parents will dye your hair blonde and everything to make you better accepted for like white culture. And so most Mexican people that I know of just have black or brown hair. I've never really truly heard of those that have blonde, but there are some, yes, that do have blonde hair. I'm assuming it's because either they have a white parent or they have a white ancestor and it just comes out in their genes and stuff. But for the most part, I've never really known any of them to truly have like blonde hair who was just randomly born like that. That would be like having a black or Asian person born with like blonde hair. So I'm all like, why would they say that for his character and stuff? Unless they dyed their hair that color, which they never stated on the show, so we will never truly know. But could this also just be Disney Channel being Disney Channel and like, trying to make a certain group of people happy and everything? Who knows? Now on to Zendaya in the Casey Undercover show, a show I've never seen. I don't watch a lot of Disney Channel shows. Like I either have to watch it when I was younger or it have to be a spin-off of something I watched when I was older or whatever. Anyway, this show is a predominantly black show. And Zendaya is actually biracial. She's black and she's white. And so Disney Channel really wanted her to be on this after she was on that other show. I forget the other name of it. And so she told them plain and simple, she will only do this show if her entire family is black. She didn't want a biracial family. And so that's kind of weird because normally if you're the lead, Disney Channel will cast around whatever race that person is. And she is biracial. But she gave them an ultimatum. She told them she wanted a full black family. And so when they cast just that, a black family. And the dad's black. Now the mom is biracial. She is black and Yugoslavian or something like that. And those are like, and so like she's mixed. And you can tell. So that gives reason for why Zendaya's character is kind of more light skinned. It's because of her mom's side on the show. And the reason why she said she did this is because she said there isn't a lot of black representation on Disney Channel. She said there isn't that many like black, like predominantly like shows and everything. or predominantly black shows, because That's So Raven was literally the only live action black show at that time. Yeah, they had the Proud Family, but that's animation and stuff. And so she said that it was important to show that representation and to show people that, when they watching the show, that hey, these people look like me and everything. And that's very admirable and everything. And I can respect that. Like she decided, you know what, I'm gonna push my other race to the side and show another race that rarely gets shown on television and rarely gets shown on Disney Channel. Because since then, there's only been four predominantly black like led shows live action on Disney Channel. Of course, you have That's So Raven, you have the Casey Undercover show, you have the Saturdays, then you had that other one. I forget the name of it, but it's like Freaky Something Dead or something like that. But that black family was mixed. You can tell they had something in them like Indian or something like that. And so so she felt like, all these white shows on like Disney Channel, that one Asian show, and those three, well, two and a half Latino shows and stuff, because there's technically been three with a predominant class, but one's like a mixed race and stuff, so it was like two and a half. And I don't even consider like Wizards Beyond Waverly Place to be a Latino show, because there's only one Latino on there with a mixed Italian family. So, I understand why she said what she said and why she gave them that ultimatum and everything. But yeah, like the point of this video is it's just weird and peculiar how Disney Channel, every time they have a main Asian character, they always have that one white like parent. And it's just kind of like when some of their characters don't even look mixed. And I would have preferred if Tiffany and London had like a full-on Asian family. It would have made so much more sense, because when you look at them, it's kind of like they don't look mixed. Like they don't. Now, Andy Mack, she looks mixed and everything, but the other two do not. Happy Asian and Pacific Islander month, everybody. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.